All right, guys. Hopefully this video looks all right. I just had to change the lens at the last second. And I definitely want to come out with a video quick because this is a good news day. Guys, I am super excited about a new release. I just had to talk to you about that. I had, a small hand in, but really credit goes completely to the label, uh, 90s Tapes. It's one of the labels that I actually don't have that much of their stuff, but it's probably most on my like wish list. I got a lot of chopped herring, a lot of DWG, a lot of dope folks. Don't have that much 90s tapes, but like I say, one of the ones I want more, a lot more of their stuff. Uh, but this one I got, and this one just came out, just got my hands on it, and wow. Okay. The Almighty Arrogant, the Almighty Way, the long lost, unreleased, essentially never heard before, sort of leaked, sort of not. We're going to get into it. Believe me. His album from Perspective Records that never came out, supposed to come out in 1996 ish. Again, because it never came out, like there's not exactly a fixed date to claim, but that's when his single came out. That's when, it was definitely right in that period, like maybe 95, into 97 would have been the album. Especially since we know that there have been a couple variations of this unreleased album. It's one of those things, I guess, where he's recording tracks and releasing kind of demos and promo tapes and stuff, and then kind of went back to the lab and did some other stuff. So like there's, it's gone under a couple different titles. The Almighty Way, self-titled. I've seen a version on Discogs called Crucial Lovin', which sounds like a strange title, but that is one of the songs on the album, so it makes sense. And it's all A&M / Perspective Records. Perspective Records was Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis's label, which is like, a subdivision of A&M. And as you know, if you follow my channel or just, a big 90s head in general, they had a really tight, impressive 90s hip hop lineup. They all, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, so they did a lot of like pop R&B kind of stuff, but they signed some really great hip hop acts. And then they basically closed up shop before releasing almost any of them. So Young Z, Musical Meltdown, that was Perspective Records. Pudgy, The King of New York, that was Perspective Records. Almighty Arrogant, that was Perspective Records. Kind of the only one they really put out was the Rufus Black album. We'll talk about him a little bit too, because he's got a small connection here. But I don't know, let's just dive right in. So this is Blam LP, as you can tell, sick gatefold cover. Triple LP, 3 vinyl LPs in this. There's 2 in the B-side. Full color picture cover, and there's also a double CD and double cassette release. So they went all out. I suppose technically there's also a digital release. You can get it from like Bandcamp and stuff. But, here it is. Album's never been available before. What has been available has mostly been like low quality leaks that are on YouTube and stuff like that. And this album, no matter which version you buy, it's all the same track list. Sometimes labels will put like a bonus track on the CD, but not on the cassette or anything like that. All versions have all 21 songs. There's 21 songs. So if you've seen like the Crucial Loving tape, that's like 12 songs. If you've seen like the last version of the Almighty Way that was leaked on YouTube like 2 years ago, that's, I don't know how many, but it's like 10 to 13 songs. This is 21 tracks, and it's just about everything. Over the years, I collected some Perspective sample tapes. So like this little EP sampler is 4 songs. One of them is an unreleased Arrogant song. Some other, unreleased Young Z, stuff like that. So throughout the 2000s, man, you found one of these. It was amazing because you got killer tracks that never came out. And I assembled them. I wrote about that on my blog. You can read it, so I'm not going to dive too much into that. But that's what made 90s Tapes contact me, that they were working on putting out Arrogant. Now, Arrogant has been a white whale for like all of us, collectors, indie labels, everything. I have talked to other labels about putting Arrogant's lost stuff out. Some labels I have been talking to in the past have contacted Arrogant. He didn't have the material. It was like one of those things like, oh man, we could do this. Oh no, we can't. So 90s Tapes pulled it off largely. Some stuff I actually submitted directly from my tapes. I worked with them. Like I said, they contacted me. They wanted to know what I had. I sent them everything I had. I sent them like, the song from the Kazam soundtrack. I'm sure they didn't need it, but I was just like, maybe there's a slightly different edit of the song or something. I just sent them everything. I ripped all the tapes. Some of these tapes, like those promo tapes, only had snippets. So they had like 90-second version of the song. And until now, that was it. Like to hear Arrogant Ways, all I had, all like nobody had anything. All I had was a 90-second snippet. It was dope. I was like, wow, we got to get this full song. Fortunately, they were able to find the full track. Mostly, I would say by working with DJ KMP, who produced like a good half of the album. He's like a major contributor to this album. He's worked on this album. Arrogance Evolved is like an officially licensed real deal LP. This isn't a bootleg. Um, and he had most of the recordings, a lot of the recordings. So they're able to get them in full, like the original recordings. So full sound quality. A few places they had to kind of throw in some tracks, but it's all been remastered. So you hear like what's been leaked, on the internet over the years and tape trading over the years. And it sounds like really hissy and fuzzy. None of that. This sounds great. And it's 21 tracks and pretty much everything is here. That Crucial Love of an album, everything is on there. All my promo tapes, like I said, all the songs I had are on there. The songs I only had snippets of, they got the full version of. They also included some things like Handle the Truth, which Dope Folks had already released on the Soul on Ice demo, which are kind of got up there behind me, the Rascast demos, because, Rascast is on there. In fact, that's a song that had been leaked. It had been, available through tape trading and stuff for decades. It was a great song and killer song. And one of those ones everybody, loved it basically, but the sound quality was terrible. Like even for tape trading quality, like it sucked. Very hissy, hard to hear the vocals. So it was a big deal when Dope Folks got it. They were able to remaster it, made it sound a lot better. But nobody really knew where it was from. We assumed it was like a lost demo from Rascast. It's produced by Voodoo, of course, also Western Hemisphere. So we figured it was from one of their projects, maybe a lost Voodoo album. But now we know, because the unreleased Almighty Way that's been, again, floating around the internet had interludes, which is one of the only things not on this album. There's like 5 skits, which I don't miss because there's no like dope beats. There's almost no instrumental. It's like a little piano in it. It was basically just sort of talking as he's talking, and there's like a dark side version of him talking, and it kind of sets up a couple of songs. It's kind of a theme that was going through some versions. Like I said, it's not on the Crucial Love album. On some others, though, these little skits. And in there, they talk about, oh, you can't handle the truth. Cut to the song Handle the Truth. So obviously at some point, at some stage, Handle the Truth was meant to be on Almighty Arrogance album. It was recorded for that, or at least intended to be on there. It's not on all the versions, but it's not on Crucial 11, I don't think. And by the way, it's retitled there. You see it online often as WEST, because they talk about being from the West Coast a lot on the song. But the actual title track is Handle the Truth, and that was on the Rascast demos, and that's now was on the Almighty Way from 90s Beats and Tapes. And speaking of retitling, you might see, again, if you're a hardcore collector, you've been downloading all the songs, you've been getting, you got the 12-inch, you got whatever you could get from Arrogant, which, I know I'm not alone in that. You might be looking at this and saying, well, there's some stuff missing because of retitling. For example, one song that's been leaked around a little bit on some versions of the album is a song called Rockabye Baby. Rockabye Baby is called Blackout. That's the official title. That's the one they got from DJ KMP and Arrogant and all that. It's meant to be called Blackout, and that's what's on the album. So if you're sitting there saying Rockabye Baby is missing, it's not missing. It's just called Blackout. There's some other songs like Almighty Ways and then the Arrogant Ways and the Arrogant Ways remix. You sort of say, well, how many versions of the song are there? Like, it was very confusing. We had promo tapes, again, with only snippets and stuff like that. Arrogant Ways or Almighty Way is one song. Arrogant Ways remix is the other song. It's the remix of Almighty Way in a way, except it's a completely different lyrics, completely different instrumental. So it's basically a whole different song. But I've got a snippet tape which definitely calls it Almighty Ways with the remix. So that was at least a semi-official titling. So that kind of stuff is confusing, but all of it's on here. The only song that's missing, besides like those skits again, which I don't miss at all, the song called Time to Scheme. I guess I weren't able to get the original recordings of that. That was floated around online a lot. I've seen it on that kind of Almighty Way album that was uploaded a couple of years ago. But I've also seen it floating around as a solo track years and years before. I blogged about that song. I described it then as sounding very much like a demo. It sounded very rough, although some of that might just been the poor sound quality of the transfer, but it also sounds kind of rough, I think, in the production. It is a full song, though. It's not like a freestyle. It's got a hook. It's got an instrumental. It's got solid verses. It's not just like, wake up show freestyle being called a song. It's definitely an original song. Although some of the lyrics in that song, Arrogant did perform as a freestyle on the Wake Up Show. So that's just a connection. But anyway, that's the only song that's missing. Everything else is on here. And there are songs on here on this 21 track version that have not been released anywhere. Even like speaking of the unreleased Crucial Lovin', which you can't even hear. Like somebody uploaded the promo tape of that to Discogs. So like I guess one guy owns that tape. Otherwise, you can't hear that. That's not even on YouTube or anything. So, but besides all that, there are songs you've never ever heard before that are being heard for the first time now on this super version of The Almighty Way. And let's get into it. It is not a letdown at all. I was prepared for that a little bit. It's like, okay, when you've been waiting, God, what is it, like 30, 35 years for an album that's supposed to come out, in 96, 97, you're like reading the issues of the source and all and say, it's here on the, fact tape. It's coming. It's never coming. You're just waiting. Like your anticipation can kind of go through the moon. And then when it finally comes out, you go like, oh yeah, all right. No, this is a really tight album and it's interesting. So he is, I would say, kind of a very underground 90s freestyle battle rhyme kind of guy, but not battle rhyme, but definitely definitely punchlines. I mean, it was the 90s, but he is sort of loosely affiliated with Hobo Junction to some degree. I'm not sure quite how much, but he does shout them out on one of his songs, which is on his album, and it was on one of my promo tapes. And he has Saphir on his album, and when he did the Wake Up Show freestyles, he had Saphir with him, stuff like that. So he's at least loosely affiliated with him. I don't think he's actually like a Hobo Junction member. But anyway, so you got that kind of sound. In fact, I actually like Hobo Junction. Think of how they're kind of split. Like Light Sleeper, Big Nose, like these kind of crazy, complicated rhymes, super like hip hop nerd kind of stuff. But then also you had like the Who Riders, and you had Saphir doing stuff like, trigonometry and stuff like that. And he was doing these later albums, hit lists and all, which are much more kind of like working with Digital Underground and smooth out stuff. So like they covered that whole gamut, and Arrogant definitely does too. In fact, you'll hear it. This is very intentional. Like on one of his songs, he says, my underground sound now rises to the surface because, he's doing that kind of stuff. And he's also doing kind of, a talking, spitting game kind of stuff. Lyrically, he's still pretty credible. A little bit of the punchlines get feel a little bit dated. Like this is kind of heavy-handed 90s punchlines, but the way he puts words together, his style, his voice, everything still sounds perfect. So even if the punchline isn't like amazing, if it sounds a little bit corny, he gets away with it in spades.
Stumbling down forgotten path, that's crucial. Blind eye brutal, turn red, I'll still go through you. Some people just make me sick, it will take over. Stab you with the horn that you made coming out my shoulder. One verse will have you so hooked that you could bleed. Warm, try to push me, I'll leave you with no arms. I'm the amazing, raising how you should flee. Best take my advice and run from DMC. Redeem, please get done. Rematch, I'll tear you a new ass to sit beside your old one. Kill off the average rapper in rage. My style will break you down like the last stages of AIDS. The immortal for truth. Fuck waterfalls when I can walk on rivers and lakes I'm used to. I can get mine the fast way, no stopping. But don't make me go there, cause ain't no Batman when I'm robbing.
He does have a few songs where he kind of raps about sex, which I feel like a little less, again, because it's less of that kind of underground style, more of his kind of crossover stuff. But like he has other songs where he's like talking about game and being West Coast and all, where it works perfectly. The song Almighty Ways remix, or Arrogant Ways remix, it's got like this kind of Roger Troutman style voice box for the hook. It is like, if you think of Saphir, this is like his crawl before you ball. It is like super catchy. It is not like Light Sleeper, hardcore, complex rhyme flow at all. This is like one of his most pop ones, but, very kind of smoothed out LA, West Coast, classic kind of stuff. And it sounds great. It is super catchy.
Your head nod, go and purchase my underground sound that takes a trip to the surface. I'm here to get the green, keeping it real. Most niggas don't know the real meaning. Run down my abstract style on the track, I chill some. When you hear it, let it bump in your truck system. Go out and buy, I got 5 on the weed. I get so high, I defy the laws of gravity. I want the fake to keep their distance. Got you afraid to come to the same zip code that I live in. Did your bitch cause I loved her, but I wouldn't waste my time on your sister, I'm a motherfucker. I ain't done. Your cousin will come in handy. Now I guess you can say that I run in the family. BK plus my brother Clark Kent. Soon I'll walk through hell and make the devil pay rent.
Production-wise, we got DJ K&P again, DJ Clark Kent, that Voodoo track. Almighty Arrogant produced one himself. Chad Elliott, this guy named Black Knight, who did like a lot more kind of like pop music and R&B, not a lot of hip hop. Somebody named like Chuck the Unknown or something. But surprisingly consistent sound across all those producers. Like it sounds all of one. If you said like just DJ K&P did the whole album, you'd buy it. It really sounds like a consistent album. 21 tracks. This is probably more than would have ever come out had Perspective actually released it. I'm sure it would have been like 12, 13 songs, like a couple of those versions that have been released before. This is more all-encompassing. It doesn't have necessarily what you consider sort of gritty underground 90s production. Even when he's doing that lyrically, there are some elements to it. And there's the one track produced by Voodoo, of course, which is, you know, a Voodoo track sounds, well, distinctly like a Voodoo track and nothing else. That's Handle the Truth, which you guys probably heard before. But otherwise, you know, it all has kind of a smoothed out LA kind of vibe to it, even when he's talking about, you know, being from hell or crazy punchlines and stuff like that, which is all on this album. So it's an interesting mix. You might be wondering, is Lay Tight on this album? Lay Tight is basically the only single, the only record Almighty Arrogant ever put out. It's a 12-inch single. It's his only official release that came out, not including like a guest spot. It was for the Kazam soundtrack. Remember Shaquille O'Neal's A Genie? But it was also a separate 12-inch. And if you look at some versions of the album, it's on there. Some it's not. So you don't know. Also, when you're talking about versions of the album, like they've been released online, if some collector just kind of pieced it together or what. But it's on this album for sure. One of the skits does imply that it was meant to be on the album. And more exciting, there's also a Lay Tight remix.
My ride, G-stride, now make the call, intent to get right. Now hot body spot, hole in the ball, baby got back. Game, shots holler in the time. Arrogant plush, pull 4 7 digits, plus the sign. Arrogant. Hop out my ride, G-stride, now make the call, intent to get high. Now hot body spot, hole in the wall, baby got back. Game, shots holler in the time. Arrogant plush, pull 4 7 digits, plus the sign.
Yes, there's not a lot of people on here. Handle the Truth is the one song most of you guys are already kind of familiar with. Of course, has Razzcast, Voodoo, Saphir. That's kind of the big guest lineup. Rufus Black, again, the only Perspective artist to actually come out. He's on here as Mr. Black, which he also went by sometimes. He's on one song. A female MC named Plucky is on one song. No idea who she is. Never heard her before anywhere else, but she's actually pretty tight. I would actually like to find more of Plucky's stuff. She's pretty dope.
Oh no, where fish low? Stepping through the door, do you have your fucking fofo? Yeah, my niggas black and fish yelling out. Anybody kill a fucking pull a trigger. What you figure, nigga? Me and my cousin Sweet Passion be smashing with a fat blunt full of skunk. Finna get fucked up with a cup full of hen or gin. Yelling out that weed is my motherfucking boyfriend, so all I need is sin. Now, to my niggas, you know I'm putting it down. Be the one, never said tripping or dipping, smoking all over the town. Now I got the clown, all you snitches, you can't get with this. I'm robbing all you bitches for your fucking riches. Coming from the west, nigga, we's the best. All my homies putting slugs up in your chest. Hope you have a bulletproof vest or get put to rest in pieces. Lyrical telekinesis, so please just sit back and blaze a fat sack. Never come and whack on the arrogant and plucky track. Nigga, never that, don't get slapped with some shit you know you can't fuck with. On the west side, where a nigga can die if he do ride. Brown sugar low, in him off that smoking, it ain't no joke. How that's the toe smoke up in my throat, never gonna croak. So please just let this female up out the door, you know. Cause I can't kick it with no fucking hoes. Or those who like to play with no Alizé. Please don't step this way, I'm about to pace my brother Drake. To you, do I look scary on the microphone? Never. All the shit I ever rhymed about was coming clever. So whether or not you're ready, I could give a fuck. I'm scaring bitches jealousy like Freddie, and I'm coming steady like the beating of a drum. If no bitches is there, I'm the one they running from.
And there's also one more song called LA Players, which has a really brief snippet of a female rapper. Maybe Plucky again, but she sounds different. But that's like a mini verse. She's not even credited, but I mean, her voice is on there. She does a little tiny rap. But basically, 21 songs has like 3 songs with guest rappers. And really, this is arrogant. This is not like one of those King T, Kingdom Come, where it's packed with 800 people. This is his album. Look, I'm excited anytime a Lost album comes out. I'm constantly like pushing, telling labels, blogging about it, whatever I can say or do to help stuff get out. Like, this is what I want, stuff that never came out, to finally get a shot. Even if I'm not a huge fan of it, it deserves to be heard. Fans who, people who are bigger fans of me should be able to hear it. So please get all this stuff out. But this one, oh boy, this one I personally am usually amped for, and I know a lot of you guys out there are too. And 90s Tapes really went all out. Like I said, triple vinyl, gatefold, double CD, double cassette. It sounds killer. This is it, guys. Almighty Arrogant. We finally got it. So I'm not going to talk anymore. Let's jump into some clips. See you guys next time.
Ilmore 2 MCs. Rampage UK, Hobo Junction. I would like to give a shout out to Sin and the group called Discipline and the OGB girls. That's right. Pay attention. Check it. I'm the one that you should pray to, cause when it's your time to go, I might be the one who takes you. I won't let shit ride, what for? If I knew I were to die tomorrow, I wouldn't give you a minute more. Should you live or die, I choose. But can you stand the kill twice? I'll keep you alive for deja vu. We can seize through your lines. Write the almighty arrogant 666 times. In LA, now we snatching them. Have your crew enter, they'll leave with their heads handed back to them. Run game, you won't gain, don't try to. Last nigga who tried to get over couldn't get past the barbed wire. I find time to write about you, who go for platinum, soon to be the next what happens to. Traveling to Earth from planet ill, young. I keep my friends close, my enemies closer enough to kill them. I'm fed up.
Shit is about to get sick. I got niggas offended off some shit that I kick. My love for rappers slowly dying. Why? Cause it's always some fake ass nigga that fucks up my eye. I'm fed up. Shit is about to get sick. I got niggas offended off some shit that I kick. My love for rappers slowly dying. Why? Cause it's always some fake ass nigga that fucks up my eye.
Arrogant Winston, by time and hot, but I'm scrutin'. Gun out my holster, watch I do talk by shooting. Listen, if you hot driving at night, you might crash. Before I sign this rhyme, run out my paragraph. Bullet with your name, no shame, erase them for later. Better behave, before I leave your brains on the paper. Format rap, get nuts, what you're under a dunker. Pick up the ballpoint, watch you fade away like a jumper. I'm in a friend, move ball begin to break soon, cause my intention is giving you inches of living room. Players unite so tight, get ruled by dictation. My entire notebook could ruin you, vacate a nation. Take the crook, you the shook one, soon to be damn. Look, you'll have no heart, cause I'll have it in my hand. I swear, beware when I bang, nigga laying you cold. Call me the Tyson with rhyme, punchlines connecting and combos. Bitch made, make way for my cue when you and duck. Cause I do so much dumping, you get polluted. Even though you step back, bitch, you crawl to your engine. It's a good thing, baby, I'm real, you just pretended.
Worldwide, players unite. Get in my green with my team, making it tight, dropping shit like a fish.
Yeah, the I-double-L, that's right.
Worldwide, players unite. Get in my green with my team, making it tight, dropping shit like a fish.
Yeah, that's right.
West Coast flavor. The almighty, arrogant way. Yeah.
Let your head nod, go and purchase my underground sound that takes a trip to the surface. I'm here to get the green, keeping it real. Most niggas don't know the real me. Run down my abstract style on the track, I chill some. When you hear it, let it bump in your trunk system. Go out and buy, I got 5 on the weed. I get so high, I defy the laws of gravity. I want the fake to keep their distance. Got you afraid to come to the same zip code that I live in. Did your bitch cause I loved her, but I wouldn't waste my time on your sister, I'm a motherfucker. I ain't done, your cousin will come in handy. Now I guess you can say that I run in the family. Ricky plus my brother Clark Kent. Soon I'll walk through hell and make the devil pay rent.
Nobody can do it like he does it every day. Hey. Nobody can do it like he
I've been around the world, but I like LA cause it's great. Sometimes she gets mad, pissed off, causing earthquakes. Ongoing cruise, bell deep for you just in time. Put your mind in single file line, for I'm your tour guide. In the angel land, traveling speeds of lyric flow. At your hip hop, first stop, South Central. Look around now, hometown indeed. Fantastic rock voyage down for the journey. Sunny cow, really ain't all that though, life gets hectic. Mexican selling oranges on freeway exits. Jobs come short, put yourself for hire. Brothers hard work selling t-shirts on street dividers. Look to your left, mad sadness and pain walks. As the back lady gray wipes her sweat from pushing shopping carts. Shucks, tough luck for some residents. Graffiti marked like hieroglyphics on your backyard fence. Downtown skid row castaways. Streets of pop, piss and bum shit pollute the alleyways. But still through the bull I rise above it. Blueprint movement can't leave cause we love it.
Come take a trip with me to Angel
Hey, you guys want to hear my cat snoring? This is Liv snoring away.